Hey everybody, welcome to the Secret History Living Inside of Your Aquarium. This is Alexander Williamson, and I'm here on a new camera, so I hope that it's better quality. So far the focus is not working as well, so long for that money spent. But in any case, today we're going to talk to you about what we should do when we have too many babies in our tank. How can we set up some quick hatchery tanks or overflow tanks or spawning tanks? They could be green water tanks, or they could be brand new bitty baby fry tanks. And if you see here, I've got Medaka rice fish fry, I've got pleco fry, I've got Battis, scarlet Battis fry, as well as Malaysian or black-headed tiger Battis fry. We've got all sorts of critters in here, as well as snails and all sorts of stuff. We also have erythromicron fry up in here that are so teeny that I won't even endeavor to find them. But beyond all that, we also have, check this out, we have a whole bunch of naturally raised angelfish fry. So that's kind of fun. I'm excited that they're raising their babies, but I'm out of space. So what to do, especially in a small apartment or in a little house? Also, oh boy, I've got all these corridoras, these Venezuela's corridoras that just hatched today. Literally, I think they're still eggs. Yes, not all of them have even hatched yet. And it looks like we've got a doozy of a collection of them. So what are we gonna do about this? Sorry about the shakiness there. Well, it's a pretty easy fix. So, first of all, we've got tanks. These are 2.5 gallon tanks. They'll fit in the spot of a 10-gallon tank, which is nice. They hang about an inch over on one side, but when you're dealing with 2.5 gallons of water, it's so light and the frame is plenty strong enough that you don't need to worry about it. Up here you can see I've got my Elosoma that don't need heat that are right there, my pygmy sunfish that is. And then up here we've got more Medaka rice fish and other fish that do not require heat. I mean, they can be at 70 degrees rather than 80. So that's what I mean by not needing heat, because the house is usually going to hold the heat somewhere between 65 and 75 most of the year. And yours probably will too if you're like most of America. So what I did was I put some sand, which I collected from the beach, boiled, strained, and by strained I just mean shook around and poured off. Then I put them into these little tanks. I can fit one more tank, they were just out. And what I'm going to do is show you how to rapidly cycle these tanks so they're up and running almost immediately, if not immediately. And also show you a really cheap way to do it that's just as good as any other way. So let's show you what I needed for pieces. So you got your tanks. Sometimes you can even pick those up free, especially little teeny ones. You could even use a Rubbermaid tote, and this would make no difference. So first of all, you're going to put your substrate down. I chose sand. I took half of the tank water and took that from existing tanks. And then the other half of the tank water is just dechlorinated and treated with Safe Start Plus, just to give it a little bit of extra bacteria. Why the heck not? I haven't used it, so I thought I'd try using that brand. So give it a little extra start, condition the water. Also put a little light over it. You can see there's a light bar just resting on these little skids, and it's LED, so low voltage. I think it's 12 watts. So not there to grow any plants or anything, but just to illuminate the area so I can see what I'm doing. Next thing, I got just a one prong, one output little AQUATIC, so from Petco or PetSmart, I suppose, for little pump. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take and pardon the floor, it's stained because I have a bunch of fish stuff. This is sand, I'll need to clean that up. But we're gonna put one little nodule over the end, and this piece here, you can get these connector pieces. I have links in the description below to some of these pieces, and I think also the temperature, maybe these filters, and some of the higher stress, the black air filter line. So there's lots of good stuff there. These are the Never Clog air stones, and then these actually came off of my gravity vacuum, or whatever, your siphon, your gravel vac, essentially. So all we really need for this piece here is we're going to need a 3-way splitter. So we're going to install that 3-way splitter, and then we're going to have a line running off of each. And with this size 2.5 gallon tanks, it's going to be just fine having the one little pump. In fact, it may even run 3 okay. So I don't want to have these out of water long, but these are great little, these have a little power head on top, or a little outflow. And what you do is, this has been in a tank for 2 years. So I take it off, and these are awesome. What can I use these for? Well, pretty much anything I want. I could use this for a pre-filter, so if I didn't want to get all that stuff stuck in this tank here, they'd be great for that. But what we're going to do today is we're actually going to take these little Zeiss, or Zeiss, I don't know how you say it. It's probably Swiss, Zeiss. Zeiss is Swiss? I don't actually know if it is. We're going to take their Never Clog little air stone. You can use other air stones. I just like the size of this one. It fits snugly by chance, and so I selected it rather than the little pumice ones I have. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually put that into this well-seasoned sponge that was running in another tank for 2 years. Now I swapped out with another filter that's been running in conjunction for a week or two, so it's all seasoned up. The other tank will be fine without it, and then I'll have the frame. But right now I can take the other one off too. Dun, 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 dun. And we can basically, you don't need to watch all of it, but I'm going to cut down this stuff to size. Another option, if you don't have this same sponge filter, and you can get 6 of these for $19.99 on Amazon. That's usually the sale price on Prime that I've seen, but they work great just on their own. And if you wanted to, you could put that much filtration in here if you had like a goldfish or something in there for quarantine medication or something like that. That would also be a possibility. Also, this pump happens to have a feature of controlling the flow, but I always like to have an extra little flow control nozzle with it if I can help it. So you'll run one line through there off the main lines, or I should say the line to each tank, off one of those lines, and then another line down, and then that would plug into here. So I'm gonna pause it while I cut everything, because you guys don't need to wait forever, and then I'll have it all assembled and I'll show you how it all snaps together, and that will be a cycled, essentially ready to go 2.5 gallon tank, which I can put those little fry in. I'll probably toss some Sawasser tanks, some moss, maybe you know, some hornwort, something that floats, that doesn't need roots, and that I can move easily, so I can count the amount of critters in there. You know, you could also throw a cave in there and spawn some sort of little gudgeon or goby, or tetras, or rasboras. That we'll talk about in another video. That requires some catappa leaves and some other things like cholla wood and things to drop the pH. This is a pretty neutral pH setup. Alright, so I'll be right back, you guys. Alright, and we did that in, or I did that, I'm speaking in the royal we, did that in no time. I also have a link, I believe, to Amazon. It should be below, but you can find it even if it's not, to these little connector pieces. You can usually buy a set that has a valve for a one-way, or a valve for the end, or to control flow at the very end that's split that way, and then also L's and T bracket valves, however you want it, splitters, 3-type splitters, but for me, I just needed the 2. We're gonna hold off on these just for now. So now that I've put these together, I wanted to show you how I did it, because there's 2 simple ways. There's a million ways you could do it, but 2 easy ways. One is you run the Zeiss stone down through this sponge, and the sponge is only going to work as far as that Zeiss stone is. So I tried to get it either in the middle or down at the very bottom, and then sealed it off just with some batting, since there was an end that was exposed. I didn't want any shrimp or anything to get in there and cause any issues. You know, sometimes they get wedged in there, or snails lay eggs. The other way is to have it near the top. So you can either have it all the way to the bottom, and then it's the bubbles where it's pumping air. The bubbles will then rise up like this throughout the sponge, aerate the good bacteria, and then I sealed it off through the top. Whereas here, I just sealed it through the bottom, and the sponge is higher. So I just figured I'll do both, see how it goes. Now, as I was saying, this was, I think, $3.99. So if you don't have these, you can always buy a little sponge intake filter, like I was saying. Also, I think this is $1.99 on sale, and so I figured, why not? These tanks should remain at about the same temperature, and so I'm gonna put the thermometer under here. I'm gonna set it about 2/3 of the way deep into the water towards the back against the outside wall of the room, and then we're gonna have just this little thermometer here. Later we can tape it off. We can use zip cords or zip ties or whatever we need if we want to secure everything up above, but I don't know how I want things yet. So the next step is literally just putting these guys in. So set it in the water. We're gonna see it actually kicking out a lot of that bacteria and beneficial algae and stuff that's in there. And with this one here, to put it through this loop here, I'm gonna have to pull it out. So I won't go through all that trouble, because you guys can secure however you want. You can secure these, and I probably won't put them in the front. They're just there to show you. Secure them however you like. Here you can see the amount of algae and stuff already growing on that, but let's pump up the volume on this and get the air stones going if we can. Now this is used, I just got it at the aquarium club. Uh-oh, what happened? It worked, and then it stopped working. I got it at the aquarium club that I'm a part of, and it was used, so I've got another one if this one doesn't work. Technical difficulties. Much better. All right, so now we've got them both running. You can see how much this one runs. This one gives you a lot more surface agitation, especially if you sink it down, you can really get the bubbles higher. The other one, which had the air stone sunk all the way to the bottom, because of the ring design of this specific cheapo filter, which I adore, I'm not trying to say that it's bad, the bubbles come out on those rings, and if it's not completely perpendicular to the side of the tank, you're going to get it coming out of one side, which is a problem that sponge filters have had for years. So don't worry about it, just put it up straight. We'll loop it through that hole, it'll be fine. Now this one's working so well that it kicked up so much of that beneficial bacteria that I can't see anything right now. But I just wanted to show you how easy that is. This pump is much quieter. It does not have much control though over the setting that it's on. I thought perhaps it did, but it does not. It was, I think, $9.99 originally. This one I was really wishing would work because it has settings with 10 increments, but this one-time setting seems to work just fine. So I mean, you work with what you got. That's what this whole project was about. Now I'll probably toss a rock, a piece of cholla wood, or a piece of spider wood in each one. Maybe a spawning cave if I need it, and bing bada boom, that's really all she wrote. And to clean the sponge filters, all you do is you pop them off the airline and just clean them, wring them out in a bucket with dechlorinated water. So I wanted to keep this video fairly short and sweet. There is your hatchery. If you want this same setup to grow paramecium or like really small infusoria, you could also take this and set it up here on in the sunlight for half the day, or any more than 3 or 4 hours a day, and you're going to get a good amount of light on it. And if you have any nutrients in there and a couple little plants to get it going just with the bacteria from another tank, you'll get green water. You could also toss lettuce or broccoli in there too, but you'll get a tank of green water, which is awesome for little fry. Hard to find them, but awesome. So I suggest putting down a very fine cheesecloth or mesh at the very bottom of everything with no decor if you're going to do a green water tank, and that way you can just pull the whole thing out and all your fry will be on there after a few weeks of growth. Other than that, I'm going to let these cycle for a couple days, honestly, and I'll probably be putting the Corridora fry up in the crowded little tank and in the other shrimp tanks, but these are going to be a lifesaver for me. They're definitely going to save me a lot of space, and the cool thing is I can now put shrimp in here with them to grow their whole lives. Each color can be separate of Neocaridinus, and I don't need heaters on them right now. You could put one of those little heaters with the auto setting, or the other thing you could do, and I might make a whole other separate video, this will be the last thing I say about this setup, is you can have a cascading waterfall with a return siphon. So what you do is you'd start a siphon from a tank that's lower and higher so it goes, and then you'd have a pump or a return trickle down steps so that all the water is shared, kind of like those little Betta three-section Betta bowls for spawning Betta that you can see at Petco and PetSmart these days. But if you do that, then you could heat one tank and all three would be heated at the price of one and at the cost of one outlet's space. So that's all that she wrote for today. You can see I made another pump like this without using an air pump. This had that exact actual little foam piece, and I stole it off of this, and now I'm using the little Fluval end pump on it, which creates nothing but a slight ripple in the water. I actually liked it kind of splashing, so I'm going to actually rip apart another filter. But this is a way to do it without an air pump. You can get these pumps, you can either buy them on their own, or you can actually rip them out of things like shrimp, like the kit filters that are low powered, under 20-gallon filters. Also, you can get these little Airstone corner filters like that too. Alright guys, that's all I have to say for once. If you want to check out more of my content, I've always got more stuff. If you search through the old videos, I've got over 500 of them, and as well as that, we've got new t-shirts and merchandise with art. No secret history branding or anything like that. Just cool fish art, anatomical fish art, scientific illustration, as well as some kind of mechanical steampunk looking illustration of a few different species of shrimp and fish. And 20% of the proceeds go back to Project Piaba or Son of Running River, different funds that help out fish in their natural environment and conservation. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. If you like more of these videos, comment below what you've done to set these kind of things up, or what you'd like to see, what problems you'd like to overcome when you've got a tight amount of space, like a 10 by 10 room, and you've got racks upon mini tanks and things like that. It's amazing what you can do with 5 and 2.5 gallon tanks. Take care of yourself and your critters, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.